Nehemiah, where we talk about world and hip-hop news and get different perspectives from our weekly guests. And let me tell you something, we got a very special guest this week. I'm pretty sure you heard his mixing on Friday. What, Traffic Jam?
Friday night Heat and Saturday night Street Party.
You hear that, right? At 94.1, we got DjChuck1 in the house. Well, what's good, man? How's it going, first of all? Has everything been good? How's DJing right now in Bakersfield?
Oh, it's cool, you know, business has been going good, you know, like, been staying busy, yeah, a lot of people, the phone's ringing, so that's good, you know.
Because obviously, finally, things are open, you know, like COVID, and like they're lifting restrictions on masks and stuff like that, so it looks like it's becoming better as far as like DJs and like even concerts and stuff like that. So that's definitely good. So like always, we're gonna start off with the news. So for the first news, we got robot company offers to pay $200K to use one person's face and voice forever. Well, like the first question I have to ask for you about this is, would you do this for $200K?
No.
It's kind of weird, right?
I think I can understand it, like maybe people like to keep originality in what they're doing and for whatever purposes they want to do stuff with, but I feel that much, like, you know, your voice and your face for a lifetime of access to it, really, if you, I mean, don't get me wrong, 200 grand is a good chunk of change, and that's nice, but when you really think about what you're giving somebody, like that's your entity, that's like something that can be manipulated or used for whatever that company wants to use it for.
I wasn't even thinking about that when I was actually reading this article, but you're right about that. Who knows the leeway of this contract that you're giving away? That's, and then I think it's like 100 hours of voice. So they have to give, like, you have to give them 100 hours. Of, you know, different voices. And
you know, on top of all that crap, like, even if you look at, like, everything nowadays on how, terms of service have changed.
Every day.
You know, with this thing, you signed over, you know, your whatever for 200 grand, and then they're like, oh, by the way, our terms of service have changed, so now we're going to expand how we use you.
I know, right? Start having you on commercials as the robots.
Yeah, you know, and like, oh man, they're just making more money off me. Like, so, like, to people, if they're building robots, so more or less they have a lot of money.
Exactly.
And so 200 grand, that ain't nothing. So it's like, that's not enough. Not in my opinion.
Well, don't worry. We're not gonna post the website because the applications are already closed. They actually filled up real fast.
Right.
So a lot of people did already apply for this and got accepted. So some people did get in. Apparently, they didn't really think that through when you put it in that perspective.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary, actually.
It is.
Think about it.
It really is. That's a lot of access.
So you know, right? No, on the 200K on the voice.
Not for that much.
That is a little sketch. And I'm glad that you think it in that depth. You know, because it's like, yeah, you're right. You never know the leeway or anything like that.
Like, we give away so much already. like anything, like, a lot of us don't even think about it. You know, we get apps like Instagram, Snapchat, and all that. You know, anytime we do like a facial recognition or anytime we put anything online, it sounds cheesy, but NSA and all that stuff is very much in action, and they will take all that information, and all this stuff that we put out there is stored on large computers, and it's like they already have a lot of information and things that we've engaged in online. They've already got like a data record of all of it, you know?
Most definitely. I mean, you can Google pretty much anyone.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example is, you know, like you go shop like on like Amazon or something, or eBay. You know, next thing you know, whatever you shopped for, you know, you just go to some music page or whatever. All of a sudden, you see an ad for like some shoes that you just bought. It's like, you know,
I've actually noticed that a lot.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, they already have a ton of access to what we're about. Oh yeah, dude. Is it cussing already?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah. You're both there. Yeah.
I don't know if this is like age, you know.
Definitely have freedom, for sure.
So.
But yeah, you're right about that, 100%. But yeah, so no robots for 200K. I mean, it does seem sketch. So I mean, you guys got to really think things through before you guys give away your information, because that's important, you guys, especially in the future with this whole metaverse and all that weird stuff. So
exactly, I think that's your identity, you know, and
that's the only thing you really got. That's
yeah,
100% yours. So
yeah,
that's freaking weird.
mm-hmm.
What else is weird though? This Japanese professor creates a flavorable screen.
Oh, what kind of screen?
A flavorable screen.
Flavorable.
So basically, I'll play the video for you. Okay. So basically, you could taste. Like, you could go through, like, certain things are food items, and you could lick the screen, and you could taste it.
Oh, my God. Why would you do that, though? Oh, that's...
I mean, when you would think with COVID, they would be like...
Right, exactly. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, God.
I'm going to see if I can find the video real quick. But, yeah, so basically, it's already created in Japan and everything. They're testing it out. I watched the video on it. The girl's going through there, and she's licking the screen, and she could taste it. She could taste... things, and it explains more on the video of how, you know, the science behind it. It's actually right here. After lick the screen, let me see if we can get some video.
Think of all the dust and stuff that's on your...
Bro, it's how many people don't think that. Huh?
They don't.
So it says, Taste the TV was developed by the professor.
I mean, that's amazing we could come up with that.
I know, like, you would never think, like a tasting TV.
同じ感じで好きな国の好きなレストラン、好きな料理の味をダウンロードして味わうということが将来的にできたらいいなというふうに思っています。
So the TV has 10 flavored canisters. It's like water.
Yeah.
Such as salty, sour, sweet, bitter, spicy, and savory. Their spray combines to create the taste of a particular food.
That is nuts, dude.
The TV can be used for distance learning by cooks.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, all the germs and dust particles that you can't clean off.
That's the kids, though. Like, imagine the kids. God. I feel like people didn't even think that through, right?
I mean, you know, like these suckers, like TVs and all that are like all kind of like sort of like radiation sort of based, kind of like a microwave.
That is true.
You know, like the heat that they give off is like microwave, like microwaves and stuff like that. So yeah, like you're kind of. Why would you want to put your face next to? Why would you stick your head in a microwave? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
right?
sort of the same thing in a way. Like, you're not quite as bad, but still, like...
I mean, I can see why they did it, because it's like, you can taste certain things, but then it's like, well, I mean, it's going to be hella expensive to even buy that damn thing. I'm not going to say it's commercial use. They say it's just used for, like, training purposes, but, I mean... Training purposes, huh?
That's a hot mess.
Yeah, that definitely seems like...
It's a one thing to have smell, and okay, that might be interesting, but taste, you don't need to be...
That's the next level. They're really thinking that... They're thinking that through.
I mean, that's cool that you can actually come up with that and execute it. That's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
But why anybody would actually want to lick their screen is still beyond me. Yeah, it's gross.
Tell me why, though, if that does happen, I bet you it's going to be on phones.
Oh, of course. Oh, everything's on phones. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Totally.
All right, you guys. So, you guys need to pay attention to your Budweiser purchases, because I guess Budweiser is slipping golden cans into beer packs for a chance to win $1 million.
Oh.
You hear about that?
No, I did not.
Yes. So, apparently, if you find a golden can... That's $1 million. I mean, do you even drink Budweiser?
No.
Yeah, I'm not really big.
No.
I mean, we ain't dissing a Budweiser, though. I'm just saying, like, I'm not really a big Budweiser. But would this influence you to buy Budweiser?
No. Because I usually don't win that stuff. So no.
And then that was going to be my next question, too. Like, have you ever won anything before?
Maybe like a Big Mac. or a quarter pound.
Hey, but back then, though, winning a big bag was a fucking that was actually legit because big bags were actually big.
True. Yeah, not like this big, you know, tiny and like. Yeah.
So it was definitely worth it.
I guess I could say, well, the only thing I've kind of won is, oh, you know what? No, this is interesting. Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, my favorite DJ, he's like, I've seen him every time he's came to LA. He's from Japan, DJ Crush. He's one of my favorite DJs, producers, what have you, and I caught him every time he's came through. One of the last times he came through, they had this promo thing where they're like, hey, we're going to give a free ticket. We're going to give, we've got like 8 free tickets to give away to this show in LA. So, you know, just enter for your chance to win. I forget. You just had to, like, I think share their promo page or whatever and like whatever or
like the page and follow.
Something like that. Which I already did anyway, but I'd never shared something from this thing. But I would say, oh, easy. You know, shared, commented, you know, all that. And I won.
That's insane.
I was like, dude, this is my favorite DJ, favorite producer, and I got free tickets to his show, and yeah, it was dope.
Damn, that's insane. That is crazy because it's like, I mean, I never like, I always see like the like your page. I always feel like that's just a way to like get like a follow.
Right.
But I mean, since you're saying it's legit, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna start trying that because they actually follow through with what they're doing. So.
Mind you, yeah, that was a while back. That was on Facebook. It wasn't on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of different. I'm not really on Facebook a whole lot anymore. Just every once in a while, but that was a while back.
Well, shoot, that's dope, though. Shoot. At least you got to see your favorite. I mean, because obviously that was probably your inspiration, you know, or you know, something.
Oh, you can hear it a lot in what I do. Like when I do like. We totally got the subject.
Yeah, no, you're good. We'll get back into it right now.
Like, you can totally hear it in a lot of my mixes, even my station mixes. Like, but it's interesting because the stuff he does, I did, like, when I first started, when I was first kind of learning, my homie had a mixer that had, like, effects on it. And it was one of these long ones. I forget the name, but it was weird, and the fader was broken, of course. You know,
it's always broken.
They didn't work right in the 90s. But he had these effects that I always thought was so cool because I didn't have to do a real technical scratch for it to sound cool. Because just and you just go you know,
that's dope.
You just echo out kind of things, and he did that a lot. He does it a lot, much more creatively, I think, than myself. But I noticed that I kind of adopt that when I even do station mixes or my own personal. Like down tempo or trip hop mixes or whatever. Like I do that. So
that's cool that you always pick up something from someone that you inspire from. Yeah. Which, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? Someone might pick up something from you.
I hope so.
I see you got a little prodigy too. So.
Oh no! She's her own thing.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
But what I mean by that is like obviously like someone could look up to you though in a sense, not necessarily like trying to follow in your footsteps. But just like, you know, and get inspired by you, you know, because, you know, you never quit, you know what I'm saying? You kept pushing, you know, so that's something to do, you know what I'm saying?
Since 96.
Even like in music, I'm 96, I was born in 96, you hear that?
Oh, really?
You hear that, you guys?
That's when I started.
Yeah, I was born in 96, bro.
Holy crap.
I'm 25.
Damn.
You guys hear that shit?
Enjoy that
fucking Bakersfield's finest right here. Alright, so this news happened a while back, but you know what? I kind of wanted to talk about it because I thought it was hilarious as heck. So thieves are littering Los Angeles train tracks with stolen cargo packages. So I guess...
Jerks.
Yeah, and there were a bunch of Amazon packages. And look how dirty it is.
That's horrible.
How many packages. So if you guys missed your packages like last month, just
there
think...
they are.
Yeah, there they are.
Wow.
In this look how dirty that damn thing is.
That's awful.
How many people you think it took to even do that? It was like one person found out and the whole crew came.
No joke. That's horrible.
And there was another video too, like there was TVs. Like there was a bunch of stuff that these people stole.
I remember having a conversation about something similar, like when they had that mall thing. It was like a mall or a Walmart or something where like 80 people bum rushed it and like they had their cars all parked so the cops couldn't come in and they ran in, ransacked the shit and then ran out, whatever. like in ways that like that's tragic for people that ordered stuff. And I think that's crappy. At the same time, I really think we're in a state of being right now that like all of us is really, we're all kind of really being squeezed really tight. Like in rent and everything is just like going up, and minimum wage really isn't going anywhere.
Thank you, buddy.
And at any time, and even if minimum wage did go up, or if it does, everything else is going to go up again. And nobody's doing anything to put a cap on this stuff, so people are just, we're all just kind of working with less and less money. And then
this war is not helping. If we get into a war, that's going to raise more. Gas prices more.
And what's whack is that they profit like crazy. Like the U.S., I'm pretty sure we're the ones, like, from what I've read, like, we're really instigating it. Like in our news, like, we're talking about it a lot. Like, oh, war is imminent. But I guess over in the Ukraine, to keep the peace amongst the people, they're keeping it, well, just chill, like, hey, we're not going to make a big deal until we have to make a big deal. But over here, we're just like, imminent threat, we're just we're like the dudes. When like say like after like when you get out of school and two dudes are gonna fight, and you just excited about a fight, you don't care about the safety of these motherfuckers, you don't care who's gonna be in the hospital or not, you just like fight, that's what we're doing
because it's not our backyard. That's crazy that you put it that way.
Yeah, that's what we're doing to these people. We're kind of egging this shit on because once it kicks off, we know we're going to be getting a lot of money because, we're going to start selling arms and things like that. There's a lot of money in war, and that's why the United States is always so invested in it. You didn't see that coming.
Did we just find that out? Like, this is breaking news. Don't listen to the news.
Or just take some
take in consideration and do your research for sure. Do your research because you just never know. And like I said, you just gotta be smart about what you listen to, what you watch. I mean, think about it, man. We're gonna be licking TV soon. Damn it, you know what I'm saying?
That's horrible, but yeah.
But that's all with the news for this week. So of course we got DjChuck1 in the house, and of course. I wanted to ask a few questions. So,
totally.
What was your inspiration growing up? Was it always DJing, or was it something else? What was your main interest at first?
Well, I did a lot. Like when I was young, I drew a lot.
Yeah, that's dope.
And so like in the '90s, I got into graffiti. So,
oh shit.
But as far as like DJing goes, it's kind of strange when I really, really think back on it. I guess I kind of always did have some kind of gravitation towards it because I was always interested in the scratch sound when I would hear it, and hip-hop as a kid. I grew up in the 70s, I'm old.
70s?
Yeah, but so I guess probably in the 80s is when, so I was like 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. I remember having one of those little, at my grandmother's house, she used to watch me after school. She had one of those things where it was like a player thing, and you pull the string and it goes around and then it stops and then it plays like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something, or Farmer, whatever. Well, anyway, I found if I would grab it and catch it fast enough, and if I could do this in just the right timing, because the problem with it is when it would go back around and play the sound, it's kind of locked in place. So you'd have to be really fast in how you'd do it and maneuver it, but I could get that scratch sound with it.
Oh, you saw that wrist?
Yeah, because when it would rotate around, I could just grab it and
that's tired.
It just sucked because, once it kept going back around, I couldn't ever, do it all the way back because it just locks into place into going, So once you let go of it, it's going to keep going. So yeah, I think it was Grandmaster DXT. I think that was his DJ. And I remember I saw him actually doing it. Fresh.
That's hella cool.
And I was like, oh, that's badass. And I remember I got home and I grabbed my Michael Jackson record. And, I had a record player. I didn't have a turntable. It was a record player. Got the radio and tape deck all in one type thing.
That's dope.
So I put the needle on. Like, here we go. And nope. Nope. It sounded horrible because, like a turntable, you got slip mats and, they're built to withstand, forwarding manually, fast forwarding and rewinding, so they're built to withstand you doing something like this. A regular record player, it's not built for that. So it's just kind of like sticking hard to just sound whoa. I'm like, oh, that's not the sound. So I remember, well, shit, if that isn't it, well, then what if I grab the needle and just, and I was like, I tore up that MJ record. My Thriller was done.
I know.
Yeah, and I was like, oh crap, that isn't it either. And I was like, well, crap, well, how is he doing it?
What's interesting though is that you're literally trying to figure it out though, by yourself.
Yeah,
and that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, like had I really just thought about it and just really put it together, like, oh, when I did that thing with the old plastic doohickey, whatever.
Because now you know off top.
Yeah, if I'd have remembered, like, oh, that's how I got that sound, then I might have been able to put it together, like, okay, then it has to do with the equipment I'm using. Then, but like, mine's just still very young, and my mom, there's no way in hell.
But that's still pretty advanced for you at that age to even want to like search for something and just like keep driving for it, like so keep striving for it. But that's interesting, man.
There was something about hip hop. I mean, it was just so new, like. I mean, because back then, like...
the 80s was probably... Oh, man, I wish I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, because all you really had at that time was, pop, disco, rock, country, what have you. But you did not... hip-hop was very, very limited. Like, you couldn't really even catch it on the radio, even.
Oh.
Like, I think you barely, if you were lucky, could maybe catch the Beastie Boys. But you couldn't catch, like, Run DMC, it was... So it's like I remember like walking home from school, maybe like might have been 3rd grade, and I saw some dude with a boombox, and carried it the classic way, on the shoulder, and had the fresh Nike kicks and all, and I was like, dude, what is that? Because I heard the scratching and everything.
Oh shit.
He's like, oh, it's hip hop, man. I was like, oh, it's like, okay, well, who is it? He's like, oh, it's Tate. I mean, I could tell he just wasn't gonna. Yeah, he wasn't gonna forfeit any information. I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." Little kid, and he's a high schooler, or something. He said he's, I was like, "All right, well, thanks," and yeah.
And then that kind of just how like hip hop kind of started for you.
So that's how it kind of DJing, I would say, kind of got referenced into my being, but I never in a million years thought I would ever be a DJ. I started doing it when, the tagging era kind of like died out. Wasn't really tagging anymore.
What kind of things would you tag?
Well, I ran with crews and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So yeah, some of the very early crews, one of the biggest ones I used to be in, the USC. That was one of the biggest ones at the time, and several other crews down the line. Just. Back then, tagging was rampant.
When I first moved out here, when I was like 15, it was like really big, but in a bad way though.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like as gang.
No, it was
back
like
then. It was more of like competition probably back then.
And that's kind of why I stopped. One of the last crews I was in, they were turning into. They were saying they were gonna be tag bangers and stuff. I didn't know that getting in, and I told them, I was like, hey man, I was blessed that a lot of them, kind of looked up to me and stuff in a way, like just for being in it for so long and knowing people from the crews before and all that. And I was like, hey, dude, I didn't get into it for this. I didn't get into it till I go, jump people or stuff like that. I got into, I'm an artist. I got into this to be creative and whatever. And I'm like, I got mad love for you guys, and if you guys ever need me to get a flyer, that's cool. I was like, but I'm not about this. And if that's the direction you're gonna go into, then I can't be a part of it. And I remember one little turd was like, all right, well, we got to jump you out. And, what the fuck? And the head dude, like, kind of, it was funny. It almost reminded me out of like a Bugs Bunny thing. And he kind of slapped him to the side. He's like, shut the fuck up. That's Chuck, man. You shut the fuck up. He's like, I respect that, and it's all good. You didn't know. It's all right. He's like, we kind of didn't know at first what we were gonna do, and it's
it kind of just developed that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I got out at a good time. So that was that. I forget where we were going.
No, you're good. No, I was just trying to just get a little background on the graffiti part of you. And then just kind of understand, on that part. So one more question on the graffiti. So What was the biggest piece you've drawn or sprayed? How do you say it? How would you say it? What's the correct way?
Well, we did. I remember we did a mural ages ago. I don't think we did 2 murals. They weren't all that big. It's just the people, the situations we were in. We just didn't really have the right access to like paints and stuff because none of us really had a whole lot of money, and we were only able to jack so much paint really. And mural wise, I only think we did like a couple. Like one was off. I think it was excuse me. I think it was close to like, if I'm right, I think it was a eucalyptus and what is that? Oh God, Fairfax.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Fairfax and eucalyptus.
Oh yeah. Right.
There's a little market over there, and I believe that was one. And we did another one off Niles, but actually,
is it still there? No.
The one on Niles?
Yeah, or either of them.
Yeah, well, the pieces, no.
Oh, okay.
This is
so
I know.
Yeah.
Oh no. But even when we did those, like the crews that I wasn't in like the crews I was in were mostly like tag crews. They weren't like piece crews. I was kind of like one of the only ones that
action.
Yeah. So there's only like a couple of us.
Damn, so you were doing all the work.
Yeah. So but it didn't bother me because most of the time that's all we really were doing was tagging. So I mean I remember there was a crew that I was in that I did a long roll call. It was a long tag. It was off a White Lane, and it was funny because I hit up what I hit up? I hit up myself and all the members of the crew.
Yeah, that's dope.
And then I ran back, and they were like, and they were like, okay, now you got to. No. I put up all our names. That's what I did, and I think he's like. They asked me if I put up the crew, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So I ran up, and I put up the. Did you put on both sides? And I was like, "Fuck!" And then I ran back out, and just it looked really cool, and it was probably one of my best tags I think I'd ever. I mean, I shouldn't say ever did, but like that was
really proud of,
and really out in the open. You could see it driving by easily on White Lane.
I feel like that's always a proud thing, right?
Yeah.
When you see your artwork, especially like on trains. I feel like when I would drive up north a lot, I would just look at the trains and all the taggings on the trains and all that. That's definitely dope. That's definitely dope. Yeah. So when did DJ start coming in after the spring?
So DJing, I got into. I was going through the mall, and yeah, I'd maybe stopped tagging for at least two or some odd years or something like that. And I met a dude in the mall. His name was Image. That's his DJ name. I'll never forget when I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "What's your name?" And he's like Image, and I was all like, "Okay, dude, your mom did not name you Image. Well, what is your name?" And Wallace Spector. And I'm like, okay, Image.
I know, right? Yeah, okay, we'll stick with it.
That's legit how it went. And I met him in the mall, and we went to his house. It was, I think, myself, and I can't remember who I was with, but it was like, I think 2 of us, and we went to his crib, and he had a roommate, Billy, who was a break dancer. And,
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And so we went to his crib, and I was like, oh, you got turntables. I was like, oh, you got to show me how to do this. And it's so strange because it's not until conversations like this that I really reflect back on how intrigued I was by DJing in my many, many younger years, and how like being influenced in hip hop over the years, you know, Wu-Tang and what have you, you know, Souls of Mischief, blah, 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 blah. So it's really crazy how it all kind of comes full circle. And yeah, and he showed me how to do it. It was just day and night trying to.
Oh, so he would put in days and days.
No, me.
Oh, okay.
Because I was determined to make the perfect mixtape. You know, because it was just so fun to like. This is how it is. You know, it sounded terrible, but you know, but I was like, this is how it works. But he did though show me an appropriate way to go about learning, and he did like teach me. You know, like okay, this is what you got to do. This is how you practice.
And you didn't even know he DJ'd, huh?
Not initially when I first met him in the mall, but when we got to his, crib, I was like,
how coincidental.
Yeah, I was like, right? Shit, you got the real thing, And yeah, and he just, so I'd always go to his house because they were really cool, very nice, and they, you know, and he let me use his stuff, and I just went over there so much that him and Billy were like, I mean, I worked, so they were like, you know, you just want to move in? That's legit what happened. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, why
so
not?
I moved in, and just, they would have to kick me off at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, so
I'd even try to do it with just the headphones on, you know, but they'd be like, Chuck, it's not going to happen. Like, just, we got to shut it off. Electricity, man. And I'm like, all right. You would have been all disappointed when I wake up at it again. You know, I remember baby mama at the time when I had a before she got pregnant, we were just dating. We ain't together no more at all. At all. No, many years ago. I remember she showed up and she's like, yeah, let's go to the mall, you know, whatever. And I was so into my ish. I was like, I told Image, I was like, yo, man, do you mind going with her to the mall? Listening to the Vega Boys, like, I'd always liked the idea of hearing a song that I liked, and then another song I liked being played behind it and in time. And I've always thought that that's so cool. And like, oh, that's
how like that other song's beat is playing over that other song's lyrics, kind of, and then it just gradually goes into the other song.
Yeah,
that always is intriguing for
like,
sure.
Yeah, and I remember back in the tagging days, one of the coolest things I heard a DJ do. I'll always remember it forever. But he did this thing where he took "I Want to Sex You Up," the acapella or whatever, and he put that over this other song called "The Choice Is Yours" by Black Sheep. And it sounded like doom 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 doom. But while that, it's all I wanna say. And it just, but but it was during like this little b-boy battle kind of thing that they had.
Okay.
And I remember the dude did that, and I was like, that's so fun. and just like ideas like that, and just like I said, even just simple blends of just beats that I knew and liked, you know, together, and I'm like, that's awesome. So I knew that I didn't need to be or want to necessarily be like Qbert, which is to me the best scratch DJ on the planet, and a lot of DJs will agree with me. And just what he does is just, it's too much. Like I mean, I know I shouldn't limit myself, but what he does is
it's insane.
I can't even do some of the stuff he did back then. Still, he was so intricate and so dope with what he did. So I kind of just wanted to be a well-rounded DJ. So I always wanted to be able to have a very good selection, play very well, and at least when I cut, I mean, I still have moments where I'm like, that sounds horrible, but at least be a well-rounded scratch DJ. Like, I don't need to be the best, but I need to be good enough to where if somebody asks me to just like, hey, you know, can you know something, you know, then I can at least hold my own. So at least keep up with the times. But
so what would you explain like a simple DJ and a high, like explain to people that don't know really DJing. So like what would be like a simple DJ? Just someone just playing songs and like just transitioning them?
I would say,
what's the highest caliber after that?
I would say a simple, at your simplest, well-rounded DJ, I would say is somebody who can blend. Okay. Blending is a basic, fundamental. If you can't blend, in my opinion, you're not a DJ. Because blending takes patience, it takes time, it takes dedication. It seems so simple, but you take that sync button off and you try it legit. And it's not quite that easy to hold those things together, especially like music like house music. People always want to try to say like, oh, I play house music, it's easy because the beat's the same. And it's like, no, it's not. I mean, even if the beat is similar, a good house DJ, well, you know, those house tracks are usually about, a good house track is usually about 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
And they're 10 minutes because you've got a good minute to 2 minutes where you have until the actual song kind of kicks in. So your blends are meant to be quite long. with house music. You're meant to be blending for a good minute to 2 minutes straight because it just.
And that's all live, right? You're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with a lot of house music, you need to check the tracks because like songs like that, the changes are different. They come in at different times, so you have to kind of. I would usually tell somebody, and you got to prepare, so like, okay, this one's gonna kick in at this point. This one's gonna kind of go out at this point. So trying to find a good segue to where they all just kind of like meet and then.
And I could see why house would be more difficult because it's just all sounds. So it's not really just trying to get the right tempo, because there's so much going on.
It's just holding it for so long, and the beat's fast. It's a good 125 to 130 BPM roughly, and that's a fast tempo. And if you haven't been DJing for very long, you'll find mixing fast beats is difficult because it's fast. It's better to start off with like hip hop type stuff just because it's slower. It's easier for you to like get used to and then gradually start building up to the faster stuff.
You hear that, you guys? Start off with hip hop.
So I would say like the best well-rounded average DJ should at least know how to blend. You don't need to know how to scratch. As long as, like I said, as long as you can execute what you need to do, know your timing, so songs come in at the right time, and if that chorus or whatever is a little bit longer than you want it to be, tough, you just got to write it out. You want it to sound clean and mix out at the right spot, don't cut the song short and mix out in a weird spot because then it just sounds weird. It's like, you're like, okay. Didn't even get to the part,
Actually,
didn't even get to the boom boom power or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or something.
And the only reason why I brought up that is because, like, I've seen Rez in concert, right? And I feel like, she's just more of a dancer. She kind of just, like, it feels like she's more of a play. I don't know for sure, but she seems like she's like more of a play pause. Like it's already pre-mixing recording.
Oh, already pre-recorded?
Yeah, it's already pre-recorded. Yeah. So,
I don't like that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because it's not more of the feel in the crowd. Do you feel like you mix better with the crowd? Or like everything kind of flows with?
I feel every situation's different. So, the only times I'll never even pre-record a set, but I will. There are times, depending on the situation, where I may pre-plan a set. So I'll get my ducks all aligned in order. We're like, okay, this is the lineup I'm going to go through. This is the exact order I'm going to go through. So that way, when I go in, so I don't really got to think about much. Just go right in order. And but that's only for like special events that, for me, they're like, say if it's a b-boy event or something that's something out of the ordinary that I don't normally do. Then I plan a set. Like there's this thing that used to happen around here called the Mothership. My homegirl Sabrina used to throw those, and that's actually what I'm going to go pick up in a little bit.
Mothership, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but she used to throw this little event called the Mothership, and her events, I would actually plan a set just because I felt like I was doing a lot of clubs and stuff. I still do a lot of clubs, but it's not very often that I get a chance to just do like Erykah Badu and Mos Def or Black Star type stuff, but her events were sort of like that. And so it's like, so for me, like I really wanted to make sure that I executed something really, really, really cool. Dope. So something like that I would pre-plan. But I'd still never pre-record. That's silly. I don't know, like I would feel cheated as a listener.
Exactly, right? That's what I was thinking.
Like that's like going to see your favorite artist
and their mouth
and they're lip syncing. Or I mean, could you imagine going to see your favorite band and they're not even playing? It's just totally a CD playing. I feel like say if you go see Chris Brown or something, or whatever. I feel like, without your music, without you being on a radio. So if you take away, that element, what really are you? If somebody saw you on stage, all you really are is a front man, kind of a backup dancer.
Do you think they just kind of lose passion, or it's more of like they get too good, right? Or they feel too good, like they're like, oh, I don't need to do that at that point, at this point,
In ways, but also I feel like it's the whole industry, and I feel like a lot of us have been jaded, and a lot of us feel like, you know, you entertain me.
Oh, okay.
Entertain me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll admit, you know, how can you do backflips and sing properly? You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you watch somebody sing and sing well, it's people like, kind of like Sade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ever see Sade, she'll move around, but it's very limited.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything crazy, because when you're singing, like, if you, like, jump, like, there's going to be a bounce in your voice. You know, anytime, even if you just take a step, your voice is going to kind of bounce a little bit and throw your tone off. So, I guess, I mean, I personally think that, you know, we as a people should be more, like, focused on, like, you know, I want to hear you perform the talent that has got you where you are. That talent is singing. Because, like I said, if you strip that from that person, what do they really have? Like, if you take away the popularity of their music, who are they? When you talk about people like Chris Brown or 50 Cent or whoever, you know, whoever sings or raps or whatever, you take away that aspect of who they are, they're not popular. They're just an individual, you know? So it's like, what made you popular, what got you where you are, is your voice and that talent. So that's what I want to see, and that's what I want to hear. I want to hear you doing your thing. I don't want to hear no CD thing. And believe me, you can tell when the song's still going and they're like, I forgot my line.
I know. They're like,
you know, Nicki Minaj does it all the time.
she like pokes it, like, let them say it and stuff like that.
Yeah, you'll see it in their face, like, you see that moment of like, shit. And they come back. So
you're like, doing for you, so is it kind of like a drag doing pre-mixing? Like, do you prefer, like, because you prefer just doing it live, right?
Oh, I would never. The only times
because I know you're on the radio and you do have to do premixes, so it's like
that type of love.
I don't mean it like that.
Live in the mix.
Yeah, no.
I can't really.
No, I'm not saying it's like that.
How we do stuff like that, but that's kind of different. Radio and things that are released digitally, like that, where you can't really see me doing something or whatever. It is what it is. But I feel if I'm performing and you see me, like I'm at the club or the event or whatever, and you see me there, I mean, DJing, I feel, should be fun. And if it's not fun, then don't do it. You know, I mean, they play a big role of like making the party kind of like going. So.
And
the same set won't work for every crowd. So it's like, you know, I try to read like what's going on there, see what kind of people are there, and you know, take my best guess as to what I think I'm going to play, and start off a certain way, and just kind of watch how people groove to what I'm doing, and then like as I've kind of seen, like if people are like, oh yeah, you know, because you'll see them like they'll just like if they're kind of like, oh yeah, then they'll start singing, girl, you know, and then it's like, all right, so I can we're going.
Yeah, you mark that in your head.
Yeah, and then just kind of go on that vibe and try to build into something really cool and make a really cool experience for somebody.
Hey, that's dope.
Yeah.
So I have two more questions. So the first one, what was like first of all, what would be like the advice you give to upcoming DJs, that people that want to DJ?
Learn your craft first. Like, there's a few things. Like, one, you've got to love music, first and foremost. Two, you've got to really love the art and all the different avenues and aspects of DJing. And that's not the party rocking, and that's not making people shake their ass. That's like really enjoying how DJing can create a mood for you or somebody, and watching how creating it can really bring about like a feeling and stuff. So I feel like if you have all those, and then if you do it like learn the craft before you go out there. Learn what you're doing and learn it well, at least. Like it's kind of like we said earlier, you don't got to be able to scratch well. You know, but you do need to blend well. Mm-hmm. So blend well, and blend at the correct times. Learn those, because ultimately when you're in the club and a lot of the ladies will probably agree with me. Girls typically, I'm not saying all girls, but girls typically don't care if you scratch. They're probably happier if you don't, most of the time. And they ultimately want to hear the song.
That's true.
Or at least they want to hear, at the very minimum, at least like say, one verse and one chorus. So they want to hear that, at least that first part of the song, you know, and whatever, and then, then back into go girl,
I know, right?
whatever. But they at least need to hear that. So yeah, at least don't cut it at weird spots, and don't cut it like too short, you know, because ultimately, and scratches, you don't need to bother with that really too much, because if the girls are happy, then everybody's happy.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. Like because if you at the club and if you like, yeah, that's my shit, but homegirl like, motherfucker, I'm feeling this, you know. There goes the night. But if your girl's like, and then like if her girls are all like, girl, that's my jam, you know, then they're happy, and then you're gonna be happy, and everybody's gonna be happy.
You'll have a happy night. Yeah.
So you really need to, when you're in club atmospheres, play well. Don't worry so much about scratching. Learn that later. And definitely think about your female audience.
That's for sure.
It's tough, because I know when I first started, I was really into I was really hard headed. I probably hear it in my voice in this interview. But it took me a while to kind of get up before I got on radio and all that. I was kind of really nitpicky about what I played. I was all about like Wu-Tang and Souls of Mischief, J. Rue the Damager, East Coast, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, so Bay Area, stuff like that, which is very masculine sounding, and so it took me a minute because I felt like, well, if I make this kind of girly, it's throwing off my groove. I'm trying to have an aggressive groove to make someone like,
that makes sense.
But I need to
so
add some femininity to my stuff, to where the girls are like, oh, that's cute, or something like that, So it took a while to kind of wrap my mind around that, but after being in clubs, probably my first 2 or 3 years, in being solid in clubs, one of my good friends, Nick, he used to DJ at locally. Most recently would be 1933. Is one of the first dudes over there. Deja Vu. He was at Deja Vu forever. But that was one of the things that he kind of told me. He was all like, you gotta play for the ladies, because ultimately that's your audience.
That's the selling point.
So just that. Mix well, mix the right spots, have a good selection, and
don't forget the ladies.
Definitely do not forget the ladies.
Don't ever forget the ladies, guys.
No.
Ever.
Ever.
So 25 years this guy's been DJing in Bakersfield. We appreciate everything, and we appreciate you stopping by. Is there any last words you want to say to our guests before we go?
I hope that all the years you guys have put up with me in the clubs and on radio, that I hope that I've given you guys, all you guys, something to either be inspired by, whether it be just to shake your ass, or if you hear something about other stuff, or if it inspires you to draw, or I don't know, just whatever, even just something simple like clean the house or whatever. Just if I've motivated you and inspired you to do anything, then for me, I've done my job.
Dang, that's good. And just by you saying that, I was thinking about how many good nights you've given people while you're out there DJing and stuff like that. So congrats to this dude. Thanks for stopping by. And like I said, thanks for watching. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you're not subscribed to the channel, click right here. And then if you want to see the last video, it's going to be right here. Again, thank you for stopping by. And we out this bitch.